How many nights have you gone to bed with that sinking feeling, that gnawing discomfort in your chest, knowing deep down that something isn't right? You don't need to say it out loud. You already know. You've wasted more nights than you're willing to admit, scrolling, avoiding, distracting yourself into numbness, hoping tomorrow feels different. Spoiler, it won't. Not unless you make it. And I'm not here to sugarcoat it. Because you don't need another motivational quote. You need the truth. You need the reality check that everyone avoids because it's too uncomfortable. You're not stuck. You're just scared. You're not unworthy. You're just undisciplined. And you're not helpless. You're just not honest with yourself yet. But that ends tonight. Because if you're still here, if you're still listening, then you already know something needs to change, and you're hoping I'll give you a sign. This is it. Let's be real. Your life doesn't feel like yours anymore. It feels like a routine, a loop, a treadmill. You wake up tired. You go through motions. You end your day feeling unsatisfied. Then you rinse and repeat. You've convinced yourself this is normal, that this is what life is. But deep down, in the silence, you know that's a lie. That routine is not your life. It's your cage. And you've built it yourself, brick by brick, out of every excuse, every lie, every fear you've clung to. How? By saying things like, I'll start tomorrow. It's not the right time. I'm waiting for motivation. But let me tell you something that will make you uncomfortable. There is no perfect time. No ideal moment. No magical motivation that will sweep in and change your life. Change does not come knocking politely. It does not slip in through the back door. Change is not gentle. Change is an assault. You either take it by force, or it never comes. It doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you're brutally honest. And here's the part no one tells you. The first step isn't action. It's confrontation. You want to change your life? Then sit down tonight, grab a pen, open a notebook, and stare into the raw, unfiltered mirror of your own truth. Not the polished version you show others. Not the I'm fine face you wear. I'm talking about the real you. The version that emerges when the world is quiet and your distractions have finally gone to sleep. Write down every single thing you're doing wrong. Every habit that's draining your potential. Every fear that's holding you hostage. Every excuse you've clung to like a life raft. And don't filter it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't make it pretty. Because that's the problem. You've been trying to pretty up your pain instead of dissecting it. Trying to manage your misery instead of obliterating it. But healing doesn't start with comfort. It starts with exposure. You want clarity. You want direction? Then you need to tear the blindfold off. Because until you look your demons in the eye, they'll keep running your life from the shadows. Most people never change. Not because they can't, but because they refuse to accept they've been the problem. That's right. You are the reason your life is the way it is. Not your boss. Not your parents. Not society. You. And that's not a punishment. That's liberation. Because if you are the problem, you are also the solution. But most people won't go there. Why? Because it hurts. It hurts to admit that you've been complicit in your own misery. It hurts to realize you've wasted years. It hurts to see all the ways you've betrayed yourself. So they keep numbing it. With Netflix, with scrolling, with sugar, with distractions dressed up as self-care. But all that noise is just anesthesia. Because silence forces you to feel. And feeling reveals the truth. You are not where you want to be because you have not decided to be. Not really. You've flirted with change. You've fantasized about it. But you haven't committed. Because commitment demands pain. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you kill the parts of yourself that are killing you. Let's shift the lens for a moment. Think of Quentin Tarantino, the guy who broke every rule, ignored every convention, and rewrote the rules of cinema. Do you know how he started? Not with a film school degree. Not with money. Not with connections. He started in a video store, obsessing, writing, failing, creating. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for someone to discover him. He grabbed the pen and wrote his own damn story. And you? You're sitting here, waiting for the right time, waiting for a sign, waiting for the stars to align. Here's your sign. The stars won't align. You will, or you won't. Your life isn't a movie already filmed. It's a draft, and drafts are meant to be edited. But the question is, are you willing to pick up the pen? Let's talk about tonight. Tonight doesn't need to be magical. It just needs to be honest. When the noise dies down, when no one's watching, When it's just you and the silence, sit down, write, not to inspire, not to impress. Write like your life depends on it, because it does. What are you avoiding? What do you know you need to let go of? What conversation are you scared to have? What version of yourself do you keep burying because you're afraid of who you'll become? Write it. Bleed it onto the page. And then, choose. Choose one thing to do tomorrow. One uncomfortable, raw, real thing. Not 5. Not a complete life overhaul. Just one decision that will hurt, but help. Because change doesn't require perfection. It only requires one thing. Initiation. Let me guess. You've tried journaling before. You've made lists. You've downloaded apps. You've watched all the motivational videos. But nothing really shifted. Do you know why? Because you were still filtering the truth. You were still writing for comfort, not confrontation. The monsters in your head aren't as scary as the lies you tell yourself to avoid them. That you're not ready. That you're too old. That it's too late. That you'll do it once you feel better. But healing doesn't come first. Action does. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's what happens when you act anyway. You think Tarantino wasn't terrified? You think great artists, creators, or leaders weren't plagued with self-doubt? They were. But they did it anyway. Because they understood something you need to understand right now. Fear doesn't go away before the first step. It fades as you move. And every day you wait, it grows stronger. So now we're here. You. Alone. No one is watching. No one is judging. No one is interrupting. It's just you and the truth. You're holding a pen. You're staring at a blank page. And in front of you, a choice. Keep scrolling. Keep delaying. Keep waiting for the life you want to magically arrive. Or choose this moment. Choose pain over numbness. Truth over comfort. Action over delay. Because this right here, this is the moment your story either begins or keeps repeating. And tomorrow, you'll either wake up in the same cycle, or you'll wake up having done the one thing most people never do. You chose to rewrite your story. Let me tell you something hard to swallow. If you keep waiting for your life to change on its own, you're not just wasting time. You're wasting yourself. You're wasting your potential, your fire, your voice, your one shot. You think this moment is just another night. It's not. This moment is the line in the sand. Because what happens tonight, right now, decides whether your future becomes freedom or just more of the same. You already know what needs to change. You've known it for a long time. But knowing means nothing without action. You say you don't have time. Then ask yourself this. How much time have you already lost? How many hours have you given to things that drained you? To people who didn't value you? To distractions that left you emptier than before? You say you don't have energy? But you somehow have energy to overthink, to scroll, to please everyone but yourself. Let's call it what it is. You don't lack time. You lack commitment. And it's not because you're lazy. It's because you're scared. Scared of seeing the truth in black and white. Scared of realizing how far you've drifted from the person you wanted to be. Scared of admitting that you're the one holding the pen, and the story still sucks. But that fear, that's your compass. Because behind it lies the life you are actually meant to live. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Change is expensive. No, not in money. In pain. In sacrifice. In identity. To become who you're meant to be, you must first let go of who you've been pretending to be. That means giving up the comfort of blaming others. Giving up the numbness of routine. Giving up the safe little version of you that keeps you from dreaming too big or wanting too much. You'll have to face the people who won't understand. You'll outgrow friends. You'll have awkward silences in conversations that used to feel effortless. And worst of all, you'll have to grieve the version of yourself that survived, but never really lived. But here's the paradox. The pain of transformation is a one-time pain. The pain of staying the same? That's forever. You get to choose. The short, sharp sting of growth, or the slow, silent death of mediocrity. And no one can choose it for you. Not your partner. Not your parents, not the world, only you. Forget routines, forget perfect planning, forget your 90-day goal planner. Here's what change really requires. A pen, a notebook, and the guts to face yourself. Tonight, don't write what you hope will change. Write what you know you need to destroy. Write the relationship you know is dead, but keep dragging forward. Write the habit that's slowly killing your health, your confidence, your mind. Write the lie you tell yourself every time you chicken out from doing what you know you're called to do. List the people who make you smaller, the environments that dull your spark, the jobs, the scrolling, the loops that numb your soul. Write it all. Then draw a line through them, not symbolically, not manifesting, just brutal honesty. This goes. Or I do. This is not about adding more. It's about cutting the rot. Because you cannot build a new life on the foundation of self-deception. Now take a breath. Because here's the part most people avoid. Once you've written the truth, you act on it. Immediately. That means a message gets sent, a calendar gets cleared, a toxic app gets deleted, a new boundary gets drawn, a commitment gets made, in blood, not in words. This is the moment where everything either changes or stays the same. And the only difference is whether you move or not. Do you think your future self will care that you were tired? That it was 2 a.m.? That you were still figuring things out? No. Your future self will either thank you for this moment or resent you for wasting it. So decide. Because once you decide, everything else follows. Close your eyes. Really. Do it. Now imagine 2 versions of you. Version 1. You do nothing. You keep playing safe. You keep saying someday. 10 years pass. What does that life look like? You're still in that job, still in that relationship, still carrying that body, that mind, that heaviness, still pretending you don't hear the screaming in your chest every night when the lights go out. Version 2? You change tonight. You write until it hurts. You start cutting scenes from your old script. You act, not perfectly, but consistently. What does that life look like? You have momentum. You have clarity. You've built something real. You've become someone you're proud of. And all it took was this moment. This one choice. This one night. That's the secret. Not magic. Not luck. Not privilege. Just a single decision repeated over time, until it becomes irreversible. You keep saying, I'll do it later. But later is a lie. Later is the language of people who die with regrets. Because time doesn't care if you're ready. Life doesn't pause for you to figure it out. And every day you spend in delay is a day you trade for someone else's script. The world will gladly write your story if you don't. It will cast you in background roles. It will sell you a life of distractions. It will convince you that your dreams are childish, that your pain is weakness, that your spark is a threat. But let me tell you this. You were not born to be an extra. You were born to burn. To rage against the script that says, just settle. To tear down the mask and become the version of you that's been screaming to be let out. But to do that, you have to move. You have to write. You have to feel. You have to destroy. You have to choose. Now. Because tomorrow is not promised. And next year is not guaranteed. And there will never be a perfect moment. There is only this one. So here's the challenge. Tonight, not tomorrow. Grab a pen. Find the silence. And go to war with your excuses. Not for inspiration, not for motivation, for truth. Write every excuse, every fear, every mask, every justification, every maybe next week. Write until it burns. And when it does, don't stop. Keep going. Then choose one thing to do tomorrow. One concrete, uncomfortable step. A message, a call, a no you've avoided, a truth you've swallowed, a risk you've postponed. And do it, not because you feel ready, but because you refuse to keep living someone else's story. Because if you don't write your story, someone else will. And you'll wake up one day in a life that feels foreign. And you'll wonder how you got there. And you'll wish you'd done something earlier. This is earlier, so write it, rewrite it, live it. And when the voice in your head says, who are you to do this? You tell it, I'm the author, and I'm just getting started.